WCBI News at 10 starts now.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Scott Martin. Columbus residents weigh in on what they would like to see in the city's next school superintendent. The Education Committee and the Columbus Municipal School District hosted a second education town hall meeting tonight. The goal is to get the community input as they search for the next person to lead the district. President of the Columbus Lowndes Chamber, Lisa James, says community involvement is the most important thing.
The next superintendent is going to affect our entire community, so it's important that we have a say in that. And I think that the Mississippi School Board Association putting this event together and interviewing the stakeholders, the business community, and saying, business community, what do you want to see in your next superintendent, just shows how much respect they have for our community.
The district says that they hope to have that spot filled by the end of June. The long-debated Columbus restaurant tax and interlocal agreement has survived another local vote. Legal technicalities is in parts of the interlocal agreement had to be rewritten at the request of Attorney General Jim Hood. The CVB board approved the new changes today, 5-4. City spokesman Joe Dillon says the actual terms of the agreement between city leaders and the Convention and Visitors Bureau board have not changed. In that agreement, the city will receive $300,000 for Pope's Park enhancements, $50,000 for the new amphitheater, and another $50,000 for 4 area festivals. The bills to approve the restaurant tax extension have been filed in the state legislature. Less than 24 hours after Governor Phil Bryant signed it, Mississippi's new abortion law is already facing a court challenge. Late this evening, U.S. District Judge Carlton Reeves set a Tuesday morning hearing to consider a request for a temporary restraining order by the state's only abortion clinic. The Jackson Women's Health Organization and a physician who practices there stated that a woman who is 15 weeks or more pregnant is scheduled to have an abortion this week. In a sworn statement, the doctor says she'll have to stop providing abortions to women past the 5-week ban or else lose her Mississippi medical license, as House Bill 1510 requires. No more tickets for possession of alcohol in your car in Dry County starting in July. Governor Phil Bryant Monday signed into law the bill making it legal to carry unopened beer, wine, and liquor on state and federal highways, even in dry counties. The new law does not apply to county roads and city streets. It will still be illegal to possess on those roads. In about 2 weeks, Thad Cochran will give up his seat in the Senate. So far, most of the talk has been about the special election, but that's still over 7 months away. Governor Bryant will have to appoint someone to fill the vacancy. Until then, though, he's pretty quiet on the issue. Courtney Ann Jackson takes a look at some possible contenders.
No matter how the Senate race shapes up, one thing is certain.
Now until November is going to be a fascinating time to be a follower of politics in Mississippi.
To get you up to speed, Governor Bryant said last week that Chris McDaniel won't be his appointment. But as Millsap's political science professor Kenneth Townsend explains, there are a few names that have circulated as potential options.
Philip Gunn, Tate Reeves, Delbert Hosemann, and Cindy Hyde-Smith. Those have been the 4 names that we've heard the most, I would say. And as of this morning, the names that seem to be bubbling up towards the top are Secretary of State Delbert Hosemann and Agriculture Commissioner Cindy Hyde-Smith.
Adding fuel to the what-if scenarios are tweets from Republican author and analyst Andy Taggart, who also served as Governor Fordyce's chief of staff. He tweeted Sunday saying, "I have a lot of confidence in Phil Bryant to make a wise choice on current Senator Thad Cochran's vacancy, but I also intend to hold open whatever options are needed to fend off Senator McDaniel, including a run against him."
You can't rule him out. I don't expect that he'll be nominated by the governor. That doesn't seem to be in the cards, but he might throw his name in.
But Townsend says another Republican in the lineup isn't a good recipe for the GOP.
The Republican Party in Mississippi really has to be careful, though. That is the group, it seems to me, that has the most to lose out of all of this. The Republican Party in Mississippi is exceptionally strong, right? A supermajority in both legislative houses, dominance in the congressional delegation. And they're on the verge, it appears, of a full-on civil war if they're not careful.
Mike Espy is the only Democrat who has so far declared he'll enter the race.
That was Courtney Ann Jackson reporting. Former Governor Ronnie Musgrove's name has also been floated as a possible candidate. He said today it was not in his plans. Well, time now to get a first look at our forecast with Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson. Keith, a bit of a break for us tonight.
We had some active weather earlier today, all quiet now in our coverage area. That is just some ground clutter. Some big time storms still lined up along I-20 east of Birmingham. These have been monster storms, some significant damage, likely from some tornadoes this evening. We'll wait and see what actually comes out of that. Earlier today in our coverage area near Saltillo, you can see from meteorologist Alex Puckett, one of those hail-producing storms. And that was how it looked in Belmont. We had some spots getting some baseball-sized hail earlier today. Temperatures cooling on down, most of us into the 60s right now, down into the upper 40s to around 50 later tonight. And tomorrow, look at this, low and mid-50s. That's it. The full forecast in just a few minutes.
The Lee County Sheriff's Office needs your help locating a missing woman. Take a look at your screen here. 82-year-old Lizzie Langford. She was last seen around 11 o'clock this morning in Mooreville. The deputies say she was on foot around County Road 1147. They say that she has the early stages of dementia. If you see her, you're asked to call the Lee County Sheriff's Office or 911. Turning to some tragic news now, authorities say that an argument over a car led to the fatal shooting of a Union County man on Saturday evening, as the victim's child watched everything unfold. Our Allie Martin has more on the investigation and the suspect in the crime.
27-year-old Larry Walker was led into the courtroom for his initial appearance less than 48 hours after the shooting.
He has been charged with murder, possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, possession of a stolen firearm, and felony child endangerment.
Judge David Garrison set a $1 million bond for the first-degree murder charge. The sheriff says Saturday evening's shooting began with an argument in the yard of this trailer on County Road 92. Authorities say Walker and his girlfriend, 28-year-old Nicole Van Vranken, lived together in the mobile home and had a car belonging to Walker's stepdad.
They went over there to retrieve their car.
Union County Sheriff Jimmy Edwards says the suspect, Larry Walker, was standing here in the front yard arguing with his stepdad, 53-year-old Leon Lewis, who was sitting inside of a car when the shots rang out. Now, also sitting in that car was Lewis's 9-year-old son, who saw everything.
Thankfully, we had witnesses there that was cooperative.
Walker was taken into custody at the scene along with his girlfriend. She is charged with possession of a stolen firearm, accessory after the fact, and possession of marijuana. Sheriff Edwards says his investigators will work with the district attorney and Child Protective Services to see when they could interview the 9-year-old who saw his dad gunned down. In New Albany, I'm Allie Martin, WCBI News.
Another heartbreaking story we've been covering since this weekend. In Monroe County, investigators believe an argument over a video game controller is what led to a 9-year-old boy to shoot his 14-year-old sister. According to Sheriff Cecil Cantrell, Dejanay White was shot by her brother Saturday night at a home on Dryden Lane. When deputies arrived to the scene, they found the accused shooter in shock and tears. Sheriff Cantrell says the 9-year-old used a .25 caliber that belonged to their mother's friend who lived at the home where the shooting took place.
We got him in there and talked to him and got him calmed down and talked to him, and we just asked him what happened. He told us that they were playing a video game and he wanted the controller and she wouldn't let him have it, so he went over to the nightstand where there was a gun and he got it and come up behind her and shot her.
As the mother heard the gunshot and ran back to the bedroom and found her teenage daughter laying on the floor. From there, she was rushed to Amory, then to Le Bonheur Children's Hospital in Memphis. She died Sunday. The charges have not been filed. The case is in juvenile court, and as far as the sheriff says or is aware, the younger child is still at home.
Your full forecast is next.
Your first alert forecast with Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson.
Good to see you on this Monday evening. Our Alpha Insurance time lapse from Vernon at Durham's Pharmacy, looking back to the northeast, building clouds, and those are the clouds that were responsible for a lot of damage across parts of northern Alabama. Let's go to Russellville. With that complex of storms, you can see some wind damage here to some structures in and around Russellville. The Weather Service office in Huntsville will be out surveying this tomorrow or Wednesday. Will it be a tornado or just wind damage? We'll wait and see. But that was earlier today. This is right now. Look at this line of nasty storms east of Birmingham along I-20. It is just absolutely crazy here east of Birmingham over towards Atlanta tonight. Big time monster hail producing storms, likely tornado producing storms. A lot of warnings coming out of northern and eastern Alabama today. That is moving away from our area, so we do not anticipate any more active weather for us. We're mainly clear right now, but some low clouds back to the northwest and even some showers. That will pivot on in here as we get into the latter part of tonight. And look at these temperatures. We're still mild, but back to the northwest, we've got 50s and 40s, and those will be the temperatures we'll have around here tomorrow. Now, the biggest hailstone that was reported in our area today, southern parts of Tishomingo County near the Dennis community, almost baseball size, 2.75 inches in diameter. We had a swath of hail from Ripley and moved into parts of Tishomingo County and West Alabama. Some additional storms too developed in Union County as well, generally along US 278. And about 4 o'clock we had some pretty strong storms, and notice how this sheer swath, these basically are areas of rotation detected within the thunderstorms, moved across northern Mississippi into northern Alabama, now moving east-southeast across eastern Alabama into western Georgia. So we're done with that. Let's be prepared for the next event, shall we? One of those ways is weather radio. We'll be programming weather radios tomorrow in Columbus 4 to 6 at Kroger in Columbus. We hope to see you there. And ironically, tomorrow is actually the first day of spring. Spring begins at 11:15 in the morning. It's not going to look or feel like it. Look at this. Temperatures start out around 50, only into the low to mid 50s during the day. Passing showers, winds from the northwest at about 10 to 20, maybe some higher gusts than that. A lot of cloud cover. Passing showers, a cool and blustery day across the region. Now, many of us topped out in the low 80s today, so much, much cooler tomorrow. You can see the clouds swinging back in from the northwest as we go through time. But that will be in, it will be out. We are looking at more sun Wednesday and Thursday. Still cool, a frost or freeze is possible Wednesday night. We're back into the 70s, though, by the upcoming weekend. There's your forecast. More of the show is coming up next.
You're watching.
Healthy meal is tricky when it comes to life's daily routines and some of that daily stress. Well, tonight, some healthy eating tips in our Health Talk with Baptist.
Hi, I'm Jacqueline Villapando, registered dietitian at Baptist Memorial Hospital, Golden Triangle. Tonight, we will discuss how to go further with food by adopting healthier eating practices. Food is fuel for our bodies. Animal and plant food sources offer calories, protein, fat, and carbohydrates for nourishment. The various colors of fruit and vegetables contain different vitamins, minerals, and other nutrients that our bodies need to thrive. Be sure to include a variety of healthful foods from all food groups on a regular basis. My plate illustrates the 5 food groups that are the building blocks for a healthy diet. Fill half your plate with colorful fruits and vegetables. Make half your grains whole grains. Select lean protein. Choose low-fat or fat-free milk or yogurt. Drink water over sugary beverages. Be mindful of portion sizes. Eat and drink the amount that is right for you, as my plate encourages us to do. Remember to pay attention to your hunger cues by eating or drinking slowly when your body's low fuel light appears. Slow down when the caution light of feeling full comes on. Realize the benefits of healthy eating by consulting with a registered dietitian nutritionist. For more helpful hints and information, contact the dietitians at Baptist Memorial Hospital, Golden Triangle at 244-1530 or visit the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics at eatright.org. Join us next time for Health Talk with Baptist, where we will discuss how to go further with food while reducing food waste and loss.
Mail your topic suggestions to healthtalk@wcbi.com. Health Talk has been brought to you by Baptist Memorial Hospital, Golden Triangle.
A trip to Kansas City on the line between the Bulldogs and the Cowgirls. See who's off to the Sweet 16 next in sports.
CBI Sports with Tom Ebel.
A third straight Sweet 16 appearance on the line for Hail State Hoops. One more spot left in the Kansas City Regional, It'd come down to the Bulldogs or the Cowgirls. The last game inside the hump for the winningest class in MSU history, taking on Oklahoma State. Great start for Mississippi State. Victoria Vivians getting the game going with a triple. Nothing but nylon on the three. And then Roe Johnson getting in on the fun against her former team. Beautiful ball movement from Mississippi State in the corner to Roe for three. It'd be a 10-4 start for the Bulldogs, but here comes Oklahoma State. Lauren Goodwin contested three is money. Then one more time, Braxton Miller. Nice kick out. She drains a three. A 14-0 run by the Cowgirls has them up by 8. Vic Schaefer's like, what in the world? But here comes Victoria Vivians. Not saying goodnight tonight. Right to the cup for two for the land, and then the step-back jumper, a nightmare matchup at the 4 spot, and then creating Vivians to McCowan inside for two. But it's still a close game. Oklahoma State not going anywhere in the first half. Kaylee Jensen steps out wide open for three. It'd be a back-and-forth first half between the two teams. But Blair Schaefer answering in the corner from her home. That is her home. It's given. She's going to make a corner three a game. That would give the Bulldogs a 1-point lead going into halftime. But the third quarter would be Tierra McCowan's time. Look at the and one bucket off the back foot, offensive board. Fingers to the sky. Thank you, Lord, for the tip-in. But then one more time, Morgan Williams with the jumper at the mid-range spot gives the Bulldogs a 10-point lead. Mississippi State would not look back after the third quarter. Bulldogs would race out to a 15-point lead after the game. The Bulldogs 71-56. This was with 5 seconds left. Vic Schaefer spent most of the time saying goodbye to the 4 seniors he said he had a lot of fun with over the past couple of years. Victoria Vivians, his daughter Blair Schaefer, Roe Johnson, Morgan Williams. The Bulldogs, hey, they wanted to go out on a good note. They finished their career inside the hump with a W. We'll have a full recap with the Bulldogs coming up tomorrow morning right here on WCBI Sunrise. So what does that mean? Mississippi State is off to Kansas City to take on NC State. The Wolfpack, well, there we go. The Wolfpack take down Maryland 74-60. And so it'll be Mississippi State, NC State for the Sweet 16. Mississippi State 34-1 now on the season. NC State, tough team, beat a very good Maryland team 26-8 on the season. That game coming up on Friday, March 23rd. The times have not been set. For the first time in 12 seasons, a new head coach will be on the sideline for Ole Miss. For the new man in charge of the Rebels, it's just like being home. Ole Miss officially introduces former Middle Tennessee head coach Kermit Davis to Oxford today. Davis spent the past 16 years coaching the Blue Raiders, leading them to 2 NCAA tournament victories. The Leakesville native returns to the Magnolia State, joining a program he believes was the right opportunity and the best fit.
The process goes on, and when I met with Chancellor Vitter and Ross, it was just one of those things that I knew it was the right place for me. Like I said up there, I wanted to align myself with leadership that I trust, aggressive thinking leadership, and then obviously a leadership that is committed. They're all in with Ole Miss basketball. And so the infrastructure is there, and obviously the things that I feel about coming home to Mississippi and being in the Southeastern Conference, it was all just it was a perfect fit for me.
SEC opening weekend is in the books, and after this weekend's play, there's a new name entering the top 5 in college baseball polls. With a series win over Tennessee and a 4-1 week, the Ole Miss Rebels jump into the top 5 for the first time this year. 3 SEC teams now making up the top 5 spots. Mississippi State drops out of the top 25 after being swept by Vanderbilt over the weekend, and Southern Miss stays firm at 16th. Also, coming up tomorrow, it's a wonderful time if you're a Mississippi State basketball fan. The Bulldogs will be taking on Louisville in the NIT. Another late tip-off. That game will be at 8 o'clock at the KFC Yum Center in Louisville. Great name for an arena. We'll have highlights and recap coming up tomorrow right here on WCBI Sports. And that'll do it for sports for tonight. We'll have a last look at your forecast coming up next.
WCBI sports coverage of MSU women's basketball is brought to you by OCH Regional Medical Center, Advanced Medicine, Compassionate Care, and visit Columbus, the city that has it all.
Some cooler temperatures back to the northwest. Right now it's mild, but that colder air is coming on in. The storms, they are done. We don't have to worry about it, but still pretty rough east of Birmingham. We'll see what the damage surveys say after they go out and check things out tomorrow. Big time storms toward northeast, but we had our hail. That is done. Tomorrow, blustery and cooler skies, some passing showers. 58 Wednesday, a chance for a freeze or frost winds tonight. And then we're back into the 70s by the upcoming weekend.
And tomorrow's the first day of spring.
11:15 a.m. Spring begins.
I'm excited.
All right.
Thanks, Keith. Thanks for watching. Have a good night. We'll see you tomorrow.